So we got John from New York. How are you?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
You're on the air. What do you got?
Oh, cool. I've been trying to get on for probably around 5 months now, and
Oh,
a lot
gee.
of problems happen with Skype and stuff.
Well, the Skype is hard because we had a lot of callers, and here we got a queue of 3, and they're always full, and if you get on, you're on.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I emailed Matt, and I got a response back about something I did in school, which was me and my friend had this idea that we took an index card and we just put atheist on it and just taped it to our shirt and just wore it around all day, see what kind of like responses we would get.
Okay.
And like, it was weird because I thought of myself as like comfortable with my atheism, but when it actually came time to do it, I was like frightened as to like what people would say and stuff.
Yeah.
It was strange because as soon as I put it on, I actually had to walk through the halls and stuff. Just everybody was looking at me, but I got through it, and now I'm like completely comfortable with it.
Well, what kind of responses did you get?
Actually, my first class that day, my teacher said, my health teacher actually, just talking about that with textbooks and stuff, but he said, you're an atheist today? And I said, no, not just today. And I was trying to be completely passive about it. And I said, oh, so you're just an atheist? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm sorry. And I'm, okay. And
Are you sorry today, or are you sorry all the time?
yeah.
So your teacher said he was sorry or she was sorry?
Yeah, he said that he was sorry, and then he goes, I just asked why, because I was curious, and he goes, because I prefer you to be saved, and then what I wanted to say, I wanted to say, okay, well, saved by who, which God, you know?
Yeah.
Could be anyone.
It's very hard. It takes a lot of practice to get where you can kind of have these sorts of dialogues and think on your feet and answer these questions and think of these things to say. I'm always in situations like this where I'm kicking myself for half an hour later because I wish I had said X, Y, Z, and I thought of this great snappy thing to say, but I thought of it way too late for the conversation. So it takes practice. So
sometimes there's multiple ways to like attack the situation, and you're just trying to find out the best one that'll work for this particular person. And
well, yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I consider myself still learning how to interact with folks and get my point across and hopefully convince a few people, although that's an uphill battle a lot of times.
mm-hmm.
A couple things, congratulations for putting yourself out there. That's a big thing to do, and I can't help but be reminded of the parallels with the gay rights movement and the leader Harvey Milk, who said come out, and there's actually a coming out day on the 11th of October, I think, for gay people to come out, and you've sort of done the same thing. Is that like gays, atheists are an invisible minority unless they sort of let people know that they're atheists, then people don't know, and these reactions never come out.
Yeah,
So,
actually, my high school has it's called GSA. It's the Gay Straight Alliance, and they do this thing. It's for the Day of Silence, where they sign a waiver and they stay silent the entire day, and then they do like the breaking of the silence ceremony, promoting like not being in the closet for homosexuals and transgender.
yeah, so it's a similar point of view, right? If people don't know who you are or what your viewpoint is, then they're going to sort of go off on their own direction. They're going to make up their own conclusions about what atheists are, and there's a lot of that.
Had absolutely no like comprehension for what the word even meant, and then like I got things like isn't it a religion, and like I didn't even like want to go there, and because that's just like round one. But I did anyway, just to make them more aware of what it actually is, so their misconceptions don't just further grow,
Yeah. Well, we actually have somebody in the audience here who went to a public event here in Austin and was chatting people up on via microphone and asking, what does atheism mean to you? And we got some very interesting responses that people, thought it meant you were in league with the devil or whatever, all sorts of crazy stuff. And unless you're sort of just an average normal person out there with this label on you, like you did, people won't know any better. And so it's an educational opportunity that you've given people.
Yeah, but by and large, the issue with hatred and bigotry as it applies to like civil rights, I'm a 40-year-old white male. If it weren't for the fact that I publicly talked about my atheism, my rights aren't in danger of being abused at all. I'm not black, I'm not female, I'm not a member of any minority that you can visibly see. I'm not gay, or at least if I were gay, I haven't done anything to reflect that. So being gay and being an atheist are two of the hidden minority classes. And so if I never told anybody, I mean, I could have pretended for the rest of my life and done a pretty good job of it, Oh, yeah, I believe, Praise Jesus. Isn't it wonderful what God's done for us today? Isn't it? I mean, I just get up every morning feeling so just in awe of God's wonderful power and how much He loves us. I could have done that for the rest of my life, except that I don't want to be a lying hypocrite. I am what I am, and I figured out fairly quickly that I prefer to be me and take the consequences, whatever they are. And so, or maybe I'm just a masochist who really just wanted to be oppressed and vilified. So I adopted that label. Who knows? But it is very hard for people to vilify somebody that they know and care about.
Personally, right.
You hear about, particularly with regard to gays coming out to their parents, some of them are kicked out of their house, ostracized from their family, and yet others have parents who they suspect might do that, and yet what happens is the parents' minds are changed.
Yeah.
Because it is difficult to reconcile your perception with someone in this category with the actual events of knowing someone in this category. This is your child who you know and love. Clearly, they're not an evil baby-killing, child-molesting, whatever other stereotype and fear-mongering you want to put on it. They just believe something is different than you, or they are different from you with regard to, their sexual preferences and stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm actually really, I consider myself lucky to have parents who really just, it didn't bother them at all because it started relatively young when I was like in 8th grade. I was like, well, if I believe in God, then I should read the Bible. And like from the first page and all the like crazy things in Genesis, I was questioning everything.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't sure about stuff, and then I was looking up like agnosticism, and then I'm like, I think I'm an agnostic. And then later I was just like, no, I'm an atheist. And then I went back and forth because I was afraid of like hell and stuff. But the best part about the experiment was people who were good friends with me and they liked me and everything. And as soon as they saw the thing, their jaws sort of dropped, and then you could see that they were kind of like struggling with it. They're like, I know I liked this before, but so clearly the atheism has not affected him in any way, so I wouldn't like him.
Well, you may lose some friendships over something like that. So that's a possibility.
One, but she would post like lots of messages through Facebook, and I would respond in these incredibly detailed and lengthy responses, and she wouldn't address a single thing I said.
My gosh, you sound like me.
Yeah, this sounds so familiar.
Yeah. I tell you this, one of the things that I came to terms with really quickly when I finally just had outed myself to everybody, and I say this over and over again, if you're going to do it, you have to be prepared to lose every family member and every friend. It's probably not going to happen, but you have to be comfortable with that.